So what percent of do you think the iron is compared to whatever when you start digging it up?
We look at that and we say that the percent of magnetic or magnetite iron is probably at the middle of the pack for the Mesabi range, and that's our closest standard to compare to. I mean, it's not a low grade, but it's not a high grade. So we've got about a 33 to 34% iron, anywhere between 30 and 35, of which case a good majority, 80% of that is magnetic. The other 20 is the red ore, the hematite. And since the magnets don't address that and capture that, that becomes the sands and the tailings that we then use for the stockpile area, and that's what we will then sculpture, recontour, and reclaim. So grade-wise, we're middle of the pack. I mean, this isn't a world-class beat down the doors. This is the greatest thing around.
Stories.
What's that?
So you hear all different stories and how good it is or how bad it is. And,
oh, I know it.
And everybody's got their
that ore
opinion.
that's not magnetic that you will
the hematite,
put in this area here.
Yes.
Is that going to be covered pretty well? Because usually colors,
Yep.
red colors,
The red colors will leach out, and
well.
and that's what this material is going to be used to be covering.
So what you're going to do is, and we talked about in Minnesota or Michigan, you've got like all slurry ponds, but huge areas.
3,500 acres. I mean, their tailings ponds would be about that size. Okay. We're
And
talking
they would
15.
dam it off and then pump the slurry in there, let it settle. And so when it filled up, then they would just build the dams higher and just keep.
There's not enough iron in that material there that's not magnetic that, you know, the other type were, rather than putting a waste pile, it gets processed someplace?
We looked at that, and actually two things happened. First is we want to be a small footprint. We don't want to be a massive. I mean, we want to be environmental stewards, if you would. And so we make this smaller, and we do it by stockpiling. So instead of putting these massive ponds out here, and then you can't reclaim them until you're done mining because you're always adding to it, this, we can squeeze the water out and then start reclaiming it as we go. So at the end of the project, this has had 30 years to grow. Okay, that's pretty close to the cycle you need for harvest.
Because it's stockpiled in the topsoil.
And
so
you're
we're
going to put it
cover
back
that
over.
as we go.